Thank you, Witness A, for your testimony. I know how difficult it was, and I want to assure you that your testimony has quite possibly saved the lives of other women by listening to you, and your bravery has come forward and possibly saved those lives. I have a question about what kind of resources that you could possibly think of that may assist you in any kind of recovery. If in vitro fertilization has ever crossed your mind, or a reanastomosis of your fallopian tubes, and if there was any other type of resources that you have thought of that might assist you with your recovery at this time.
Thank you, Senator Boyer. My partner and I have discussed IVF because I'm still young. I'm only 28, so I'm still in the prime of my my baby carrying stage. So we have discussed that a lot. Like I had offers throughout my family for people to they volunteered to carry my baby if that ever is something I want. However, the cost for IVF and those kind of um things are very expensive, but I would love to be able to experience them eventually. That's currently why I'm trying to go back to school. My partner's also trying to go back to school so we can eventually have enough money saved up so we can go through with the procedures. Thank you again.
Thank, thank you very much for that testimony. And it's my understanding that it's between $10,000 and $15,000 for that surgery. And is that what you're saving up for?
Yes, that's exactly what we hope to save up for.
Thank you.
Because thank you.
And Witness A, I am wondering what you think of the criminalization of the people that did this to you, how you feel about that.
I when I discussed this with my lawyers, they told me that that could be a possibility. And a part of me knows that not all of the personnel involved, they were aware of it. And that makes me feel bad because I did have a few really great nurses throughout the days I was there. But I do know of some women who seemed almost malicious towards me and my partner. And I do believe that some of the people involved should be um, criminally held responsible for what they've done. I feel bad about it, but I don't think that they really thought about me while I was in the hands of them, of the care. So I do believe that some people should be held responsible for their decisions. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
And thank you to President Sharp and to President Redfern for your compelling testimony. It's difficult to hear sometimes the realities of what is going on with the women that are being sterilized. My question is for you, President Redfern. I know that other survivors of this practice have talked about criminalization for sterilization, for forcing sterilization or coercing into sterilization, and they want to see it in the criminal code. I'd like to know what your opinion is about that, please, President Redfern.
Thank you, Senator Boyer, for the question. Assault by anyone, including by government, effectively doing any procedure without valid consent effectively is assault. However, it becomes extremely difficult to bring about criminal charges under the current criminal code for effectively any treatment that an individual is subjected to, either in the past or even today. Um, I'm I I'm not entirely sure if you know how the additional sort of change to the criminal code you know would assist. I would require probably a little bit more research, seeing what other countries have done, if they've enacted laws to extend to unwanted or a medical treatment where there was clearly no or inadequate consent. But I can also tell you that in Nunavut, leaving it simply to the tort system, or civil law, where someone can actually sue not only the hospital or the government or the healthcare professionals that were involved in a treatment that someone did not ask for, is not only exceptionally difficult, it's virtually impossible. Most people don't have access to a lawyer that practices in medical malpractice area. They don't have the minimum $5,000 payment just for even the lawyer, and most of the lawyers will tell you that won't even last 5 days of initial work. It's highly specialized. So as a result, there's been lots of medical malpractice issues in Nunavut that never see, any form of justice, because simply people can't afford access to a lawyer. So I'm not entirely sure what is the most appropriate response, but right now, leaving it to a civil response means no response.
Thank you.
Senator Boyer, do you have a supplementary to that?
Well, I would like to hear from President Sharp if she has any opinion about how effective she thinks criminalization may be.
First off, I would like to say that I think that our legal counsel would also have an opinion on this, and we'd like to forward that to you as well. When it comes to criminalization of this issue, there is currently an Inuit woman who is suing the government for the forced sterilization, and there is a doctor who is on record. That same doctor who did that to her is on record as saying, let's see if I can find a reason to remove her other egg. So this is not something that happened 40 years ago. This is something that's happened in the last five to 8 years. Miss Redford mentioned something about the numbers of sterilizations that took place in Johaven. Johaven is my home community. Growing up, it was common knowledge that if you went out for any type of abortion of any sort, even if it was life-threatening or as a result of a rape, you would likely come back sterilized. And this is something I grew up knowing with common knowledge. This is something that women feared. They didn't want to go out, but they were forced to go out. Very few women were able to stay home in their communities to deliver. It's not their option today. It's still not their option to go out and deliver their babies. So today I have one of my cousins coming in from Johaven. She's 4 weeks away from her due date. If that child is late, it'll be at least 2 months before she can go home. And it's only been in recent years that they've started covering the cost of an escort to go with them. So one spouse can go with them. So they're for that very important part of their life, they're being removed from that. This is why it's so critical to have midwifery services back in the communities. So criminalizing this, yes, this should happen.